Get it straight, Buster. I'm not here to say please. I'm here to tell you what to do. And if self-preservation is an instinct you possess, you better do it, and do it quick. I'm here to help. If my help's not appreciated, then lots of luck, gentlemen. If I'm curt with you, it's because time is a factor. I think fast, I talk fast. I need you guys to act fast if you want to get out of this. So, pretty please, with sugar on top. Listen to Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond.
Today on Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond.
So I would say, slow down to speed up instead of speeding up to slow down.
Get ready to Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond, connecting you to the most inspiring and amazing people that are thriving each and every day. I'm your host, Lou Diamond. Today on Thrive Loud, we have a highly sought-after international speaker, best-selling author, consultant, trainer, and coach. She has been named in the top 1% and top 200 loan originators in the United States, is the founder and host of the weekly podcast, Mastering Your Greatness, and author of Launch. Thrive Loud listeners, get ready to take off with Jen du Plessis. Jen, how are you today?
I love that. I'm great. I love that. Get ready to take off with Launch. I never used it. Thanks.
You can feel free to utilize it in whatever way you would like. You can all rights have been passed over to you.
Yeah, that's great. No, thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm so excited.
Thrive Loud listeners need to know that I have had the extreme pleasure of hanging out with Jen, not once, but twice in a very short period of time, but most notably hosting and sharing the stage with her as the two of us spoke and emceed a very large real estate event in New York City, which was a lot of fun. Jen, we had a lot of fun, didn't we?
We did. We had a lot of fun. It was a lot of work too, but I think we had more fun afterwards.
Without a doubt, we had more fun afterwards. Note to self, I really wasn't sure if we paid for the bill or not, but we did. It turned out I did see it on my credit card. So,
right. One
martini, okay, after a big long day event. 2 martinis, probably not the best idea.
No. It felt good to me, so I was fine.
Well, so as Jen has just, as you've heard in the opening from my intro, Jen, she's awesome and she's great. And I want you to share a little bit about what you're all about with our listeners. So if you could kind of dive into what you've been focusing on of late, because I think that's awesome. And I think our listeners will really appreciate it. So I'm passing the baton to you.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, well, what I've been focusing on of late is really just trying to get people to stop the sabotage that they're doing in their businesses, I shouldn't say in their businesses, but in their life as, for the sake of their business. And, I had this major big breakthrough several years ago. And just to be clear about everything too, I'm no longer a mortgage originator. I've left that business, transitioned a year and a half ago. And, I had a major breakthrough in realizing that I was sabotaging my health and my family, my relationships, my spirituality, my cultural experiences. I mean, everything just to chase the almighty buck. And in the course of doing that, all these memories were passing me by and my family was having a great time, but I wasn't, and I wasn't really present. And it was just a real huge aha moment for me. And, I figured out how to make it work. And now I just want to share that with as many people as I can so that they can have, a beautiful life, but then success also at the same time. You don't have to sacrifice the success that you're trying to get, to be able to have a great life, but you definitely will sacrifice your family if you're trying to create that success without the realization, of what's important to you.
Jen, what are the first steps that you personally did when that aha moment hit? And then how did you translate that into really what is a great action plan for people to really take advantage and launch their lives forward?
Yeah. There's a couple of phrases that I could use for it, but, slowing down to speed up instead of speeding up to slow down. It was really important for me to just slow down and be present. I think, the story behind it is I did a little, an email out to a bunch of people and said, if you could have 3 words that describe me, what would they be? And of course, everybody, and it was me trying to do some branding and stuff, but it was me, they came back and said, oh, you're a giver and you're so nice and you're knowledgeable and all these nice, wonderful things. But one person had one thing to say that said, you're never present. And that hurt. right? But I picked up the phone and I called him and I said, Chip, I said, you said this and I want to know what's going on. He goes, well, you're everywhere all the time. You're always out gallivanting and you're, doing things for people, but you're never really having a conversation with everyone. So I was sort of skimming across the lake of life, right?
Yeah.
Skimming. And, and I thought, gosh, the only way to do that is just sort of stop and sink in. And so that's where I started saying, okay, put the phone away. I mean, that's one thing. Just put the phone away, turn it off, with your meeting with somebody, just turn it off, put it away. You don't have to have it up looking at you where it bings and dings, even if you have it on silent. That's not really turning it off. So it's really just about being present. And that was a huge aha. And as you know, my next aha was just going to dinner with my family and seeing them have a wonderful time while I was outside on the phone with yet another client that, just absolutely needed me.
Yeah. My
family needed me. So I would say, slow down to speed up instead of speeding up to slow down.
I like that. I also recognize that you're just talking about having dinner with the family. This is something that we do here in my household as often as possible. Share with the listeners, I guess, what that experience does for you, just that together time.
Yeah, well, and it was hard at first because they weren't present, because guess where they learned that from?
Right. Chip off the old block. There you go.
Yeah. So we were, there's a lot of things we're like, oh, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. There's not always good things. It could be a bad thing. So we had to learn how to actually be present and really explore with each other. And one of the things that we started working on was this thing called Buffalo. And I know it sounds really kind of weird, but it's one thing that we just felt was really, really cool. It's called High Low Buffalo. And we just said, okay, so what was your high for the day? What was your low for the day? And what was unexpected today? Huh. And just some stupid little thing. And I can't remember how it all came about, but, really getting to know our family members. And then in addition to that, a colleague of mine had this 52 weeks a year asking questions, like all the questions you want to ask your family. What's your favorite movie? Why do you work out? Why is it important to work out? If you could say something, one word or have another conversation with some family member, that's passed on, what would you tell them? What would you tell them you loved about them that you didn't get a chance to? What was your favorite memory as a child? All of these questions to really, really dig deep in and find out who our family really is, because again, we were skimming across, we think we know everybody, but then that translated into my business too. I wasn't skimming across the relationships with them. I really wanted to know what made them tick. And now as a result, I have richer relationships. We use that word in business all the time. I want deeper relationships, but deep and wide is richer relationships. That's what we want.
I like that. And it really kind of falls into a little bit of the less is more, right? Maybe less. If you have those deeper relationships with a smaller group, you can actually grow, and there's more opportunities that come from that. And that could also be applied to the time that you spend. If you're able to really give a smaller window to the concentrated work that you do each day, you can actually get a lot more done in that window so that you can have more time for yourself, for your family, and all of that.
Oh, absolutely. And that's now one of my specialties, when I went with coaching my clients, is working on priority management, not time management, priority management, making sure that our priorities are in line, and that we get in, we get out, and we move on to the things that fulfill us, right? We get so bogged down with activities. It's like eating soup with a fork.
Yeah.
Like we come home and we're just not full because we've been busy all day and we're exhausted. And the last thing we want to do is chit chat with a family member. So if we can change that pattern, it's just much more exciting and pleasurable to be successful because you actually can enjoy it instead of just having it.
This is a good question I wanted to ask you, because coming from the industry you came from and totally recognizing that the realtor world has a different work timeline because of when people can actually go visit houses, go see things, and the experience that you had there. Is there a specific time of the day that you're most or least productive? Have you figured that out in the way that you work? And are you able to incorporate maybe that in some of your training to help people understand where you can be the most effective to maximize that time.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, I'm an early to bed, late to rise person. I love 10 hours of sleep or more every night. So for me, I don't start ticking till probably about 10 o'clock in the morning, not because I sleep that late. I get up around 7:30, but it's important for me to have quality time with myself in the morning. I get a checkup from my neck up, and I subscribe to Hal Allred's, Miracle Morning. I do a lot, and I'm not a meditator, but I'm a prayer, right? And so I just need sort of that downtime to get my head on straight. But boy, once that happens, I'm ready to go. But there are people that they get up and they just go out and they work out. I'm older now, so my body can't handle that until later in the day. So how effective you can be. It's sort of like riding in a race car. You don't want to be the lead person if you can be the secondary person, because you get that backdraft, right? That wind, and it allows you to go faster with less energy. So identifying, the time of day that works for you is really great. So to get back to your question as it relates to realtors, I think that we all have to put boundaries on the people that we work with. And one of the boundaries for them is that, I didn't work on weekends.
Yeah.
And when I did work on weekends, it was for the handful of people that I had a really, really strong relationship with, that I would be willing to do that, right? But they were like-minded people who also didn't want to work on weekends. So it's a law of attraction, right? It's finding the people that align with you, and the rest of them, they can find someone else who aligns with them, who wants to work all weekend long. And that's just one example. There are lots and lots of examples of how, I help people with their priorities to ensure that, they are living the best life that they can without being, succumb to the business constantly. And there's plenty of people out there for you to find that can align with, similar boundaries that believe in that.
Jen, you're speaking, you've written a book, you host a podcast show, you're training, you're coaching, consulting. Mm-hmm. You get to pick one of those many things that you do in all the superpower arsenal that you are as the incredible Jen du Plessis. You get to pick one. Which is the one you want to choose to pick most out of all those things you do?
That I love to do. I love speaking because I love inspiring. I wouldn't call myself a motivational speaker. I think if I can inspire you to be motivated, I don't want to motivate you and then have you tomorrow not be motivated. So it stems from the inspiration. So if I can consolidate my years of experience and help you achieve business faster and success faster, whatever that means for you, it doesn't have to be tons of money. It could be a property. It could be spending time with kids, with your kids or grandkids. That for me is the best, because I see those aha moments, and occasionally the tears, depending on the topic I bring up, right? People will come up and say, that's me. And this is what I needed to hear. That gives me so much joy, if I can inspire people.
So with all these things that you thrive at, I love asking this question on the show, Jen. When you're having kind of an off day, and by the way, I'm laughing at the irony of this. We did start recording this at 10 a.m. in the morning. So I know that you've got your full night's sleep when we did hit the record button. But let's say you didn't have the full night's sleep and you were a little bit off your game.
Yeah.
What practice do you seek, or individual do you seek out to help yourself get back on the thriving track?
I'm very spiritual. So I'm always going to go to God. For me, it's God, right? I'm always going to go to God. I'm always going to ask Holy Spirit to give me the words and the wisdom that I need to be able to affect one person. And I may never know that, right? I may never know that they've been affected, but give me the words and the wisdom to be able to affect one person today and make a difference in their life, so that they can change the habits that they have and make it a sticky habit, that it lasts for a lifetime. So I really get a lot of my power from my spiritual, the spiritual side of me. I'm not one to jump up and down and I'm going to get ready. I'm not one to do that. I'm very cerebral. I'm definitely one of those people. I'm a bookworm, and that's where I get my inspiration, is just internally, breathing and figuring out, what it is that I want to give to people and make sure that I'm showing up. And I had to learn that because I wasn't before. I would just kind of show up and do my thing, but now I'm very intentional about doing it.
Let's do the admin part of the show here, Jen. Share with the listeners all the places people can find you, websites, links, special offers, things coming down the pike. We will put it all in the show notes, but it always sounds better when they hear it from you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. First of all, my website is jenduplessis.com. And, of course, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, all of those places. And most of those are at Jen Duplessis. There's a few at Jen Duplessis 22s in there. It's my favorite number. And apparently there's a bunch of Jen Duplessises out in the world. And by the way, if you look up Jen Duplessis and it's someone in Africa who's been indicted, that's not me. Okay.
Spectacular. We'll make sure to avoid that.
Yeah, that is definitely not me. So, what I would love to give as a gift to your listeners is my book, an ebook, my book launch. So you can go to jenduplessis.com/launch and get a free copy of my book called, and you already know the name, but inside it talks about finder, minder, and grinder and how to split up your day and really prioritize your day to be able to get to the success that you want. And so I'd love to offer that to them.
Great.
And if anyone would, something's resonated, you don't have a mentor and you want to have a conversation with me, you can text the word strategy to 66866 and schedule time to chit chat with me, see if I can help you move forward and get to where you want to go. Also on November 26th, which this may not be released by them, that I have
it won't be, but we'll go back in time and let people know this. Right. What happened on November 26th?
Yeah, what happened? What already happened is that I released a collaborative book called Game Changer. So you can find that on Amazon as well. And in there, I have a story about my life. And, I don't like sharing it too much, but I shared it. So it's very exciting to kind of let that go, right?
That's awesome. I like that.
Things go. Yeah.
So we'll put that all in the show notes and all the links so everyone can check it out. And that's great. And all these things going on. Okay. We're going down Fun Street now, even though we've been having fun from the very beginning.
Yes.
On the beginning part, first of all, this now is starting to make total sense that we obviously connected from the first time we met and hung out and got to share the stage. 22 is my lucky number. I don't know why that
it is. Oh
yes,
my gosh! Yeah,
is.
that was my number in high school. All the stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Same thing. Wow. Go double deuce. Yeah. All right. Very cool. Just a random bit, but let's go down this fun road. I'm going to do the signature question first, and then I've got some other things here. Can you share with the listeners your all-time favorite movie?
Yeah, you're going to laugh when you hear this. It's called Summersby.
No, I know the movie, and why does that movie connect with you? And I won't laugh. I just want to know why.
Yeah. Well, it's Richard Gere and. Oh gosh, I just lost her name. I was going to say Michelle Pfeiffer, but it's not. It's oh gosh, I can't think of her name. Anyway, she played in Contact.
Now Jodie Foster.
Jodie Foster. There we go. Yeah. So the thing that I like about that is his ethics. That's why I like that show. There's some other movies that I really like and I think are kind of fun and everything, but there's something about the personal sacrifice that he gives, for the people around him. And I've always felt that, that is what I did for most of my life, is I gave that sacrifice to prove to everybody that I wasn't, you'll have to watch listen to my story or read my story, that I wasn't Jenny who ain't got a penny. I wasn't the child that my uncle had said, I would be worthless and I'd amount to nothing. I'd be an alcoholic. I'd be like my family. And and he was kind of like that. And he just rise to the occasion and became the better man. And I just like that he did that. And it just resonated with me. And it always does. And it's always, very heartfelt to see. And I always wish the movie would end differently.
Well,
I always wish it would end differently.
Spoiler alert for those who haven't seen it, but we'll tell people to go out and go get it. But anyway, It doesn't end as well. It doesn't end the way we'd all like it to be. First of all, and we'll make sure that people get a chance to connect to that other book where you share your personal story, and so they can learn more about it. And knowing that anyone who overcomes challenges, it kind of makes sense for those that'll just see Jen's smile on the podcast artwork here and her energy, and you've gotten a feeling of just what a warm person she is. She is what I love to call like the master connector. You just want to know more, and you could hear it from there, which is good. So we've now put links so that people here and the listeners can go out and find out other ways.
And I got to say, Lou, you're just like it. So you're talking to a mirror. I mean, you're just incredible. You're just one of those people that really connects people and, is inspiring and smart, really smart. I love knowing you.
Oh, that just went right to the heart. Thank you. And I'm going to actually cut that clip and play it and send it off to my wife. So she actually does know that. See, someone does think I'm intelligent and smart. So to wrap things up, the first time we met, I got a chance to actually see you on stage, but more notably, I got to hear some pretty good music, I think, that is kind of like,
yeah.
So what is Jen du Plessis's jam that she likes to hear, or that stuff that she loves to have play when she goes up on stage? Which I love asking speakers this question because it not only is fun to learn what they love to listen to, but we also like to play it while it's going on right now. So what is that jam that you love, Jen?
Yeah, I wish I knew the actual name of the song because I'm not really good at that era, but it's from the Blues Brothers. And it's Peter, what do they call it? Peter something, but it's dun 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 dun. Right? And it's sort of that song that was played there. And the reason why I like that is it's a stealthy thing, right?
It's the Peter Gunn theme is what it is.
Peter Gunn, that's it.
Yes.
Yeah, really, really stealthy. And the reason I like that is because, most people will judge me by my cover. Right. And I want and so I want them to kind of know I'm coming up and watch out because you're about ready to get blown away with what I have on the inside. Right. And so that's why I like doing that. And as you know, I have two major parts to me. One is I'm a ballroom Latin and swing dancer.
Yeah.
And the other side is that I'm a competitive shooter. And
you are literally the spectrum has been covered.
Right.
Shooting guns and spinning and doing salsa or whatever it might be. That's just unbelievable range. I love that.
Yeah, and that's sort of that stealthy thing about me. It's like, ooh, wait till you unpeel the onion here and you're going to see some really crazy stuff about me. But it's all genuine. I mean, it's who I am. And I love diversity. I love things. I used to play flute and piccolo and the symphony. I mean, there's so many things and I'm very athletic and there's just so many things about me. And so I really like that song because it just says, watch out. You know what you're going to get.
Thrive Loud listeners, speaker, author, consultant, dancer, shooter, badass, awesome, incredible human being who loves the number 22. I can't thank you enough for coming on the show today. You truly do take off and launch to new levels, Jen du Plessis.
Thank you so much, Lou. And I love you too. And I just wish you the best success for anything and everything that you do. And I'm so happy to be along for the ride now.
You got it. And to all our Thrive Loud listeners out there, thank you for joining us. And until next time, keep thriving onward and upward. And remember, be brief, be bright, be gone.
You've been listening to Thrive Loud with your host, Lou Diamond. Make sure to subscribe on iTunes, Overcast, or wherever you get your podcasts. And follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Thrive Loud. Or find us on the web at thriveloud.com.